Good evening, YouTube. So it is now, I would say, race week got over Monday, and it is Thursday, and I'm still decompressing from the whole week. So I just want to talk a little bit about race week and what to expect if you've never done it and what exactly it is. If you guys followed along, you obviously know that it's uh, 7 days, 5 race days, 2 drive days, and then um, you end up with over 1,300 miles, which is pretty crazy. So this is my race week warrior here. Everything was in the back of it. I still haven't unloaded a whole bunch, and I've been to the track a couple of times since to try to improve on my times. This thing was thrown together in 2 days, which most people who attend race week, their cars are thrown together in a couple of days. Uh, Being prepared is very rare for race week because even when you're prepared, you end up running into issues like we did. I had a 408 that was already built, ready to go for race week, and now, as you see, this is what I ended up going to race week with. So, what should you expect with race week? Well, if you have a car like mine, 1,300 miles plus is a lot of miles. You're going to drive a lot, you're going to race a lot, and you have to work a lot. It is absolutely grueling. The drive days are long, but it is probably one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. Like when you get to that next track, you end up with a feeling of just overwhelming accomplishment. You feel like, hey man, I made it 8 hours to the next track. I did all of this stuff, right? So it's pretty crazy. You start off at one track, you race, then you have a drive day and you drive, 6 to 9 hours to the next track. Then you end up racing again. You got to do it all over. So most people, like I've got a set of street tires here, you'll end up with that. Then you'll end up with a set of slicks. So you're changing tires at every track. You don't have to, but most people do. If anything breaks down, you've got to fix it on the side of the road. You've got a crew member. So I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, and if you're not prepared for it, it can kind of take you by surprise. Like if you're not ready for a week's worth of work, it's probably not the best thing for you because it is a lot of work. It really is. But if you like cars, you like working on your cars, the car community, there's so many cool people. It's a great experience, and it really just is fantastic. So I just kind of wanted to touch on that a little bit. But being prepared for race week is probably the toughest thing to do because there's so much that goes into it. So anyway, this car, I did go to the track the other day, and I wanted to give you guys kind of an update. I went 2 days after I got back from Rocky Mountain Race Week. I switched from the intake we went to this one. So that's a trick flow intake, and I switched from this guy here to this intake. And this got thrown together in 2 days. Most people end up getting their car thrown together in a couple of days. Very little testing, which is exactly what this is. And I'm still trying to put all the pieces together since then. So I went to the track. I thought the limiting factor was this intake, and I thought that's why I wasn't able to rev very high. It's not the case. I'm still having issues, and I have dialed it or narrowed it down to a spark issue. So at higher RPMs, it's cutting the spark. And there is actually an offset for spark in my ECU that we had all dialed in before, but for whatever reason, maybe I loaded an old tune or whatever, but it is not zero anymore. So we end up, just the spark is off. So what I need to do is get a timing light out, and I've got an actual distributor cap. And I've talked about rotor phasing before, but you have to watch where the rotor is in relation to the spark plug. And as the engine revs up, if that lags or leads, you have to adjust that because you ideally want to be firing with your rotor dead on with each individual pin for each spark plug. So that's where we're at with this so far. I've got to get everything dialed in. Sorry, I got to go charge my phone while I'm talking to you guys. Otherwise, we're going to die. There we go. So race week is fantastic. It's a lot of fun, but you just have to be prepared for it. My car, we're still in the process of getting it dialed in, but this is a combo that was thrown together in just a couple of days. So hopefully you guys kind of see more about how this came to be. This is not really a car that was put together with the intentions of it being what it is. It's gotten a lot of attention. I love it. I love the car. I love what it is. It's just going to take a little bit of time. Right now, it's the 4th of July weekend coming up. I mean, I hope all of you guys are ready to have a great 4th of July. It's going to take me a few days to work out some of the bugs on this. And for those of you who don't know, this car is so loud, so loud. So trying to tune this thing right now, I used to be able to just start my car and tune it and do some stuff in the garage, but it's so loud now that I don't have anywhere to go to tune it. It's crazy. So what I've got to do is find some time where I can get this car out somewhere where I can be loud with it, and then get some tuning done. So there's some offsets for the spark that I have to set, and once I get that dialed in and we make sure we're not misfiring in the higher RPMs, it'll run a heck of a lot better. But I don't know, I love it. It's a great car. It's tons of fun. Rocky Mountain Race Week went fantastic. This car was so reliable. The engine I didn't have any problems with. It's a stock engine from heads to oil pan. Pulled it out of a 95. Well, I pulled it out of a guy's garage. It's from a 95 F250, and this thing had no issues at all. I mean, I drove this, I think 2,000 miles is what we clocked in race week, and it was just absolutely fantastic. The rest of the car is built for plenty of horsepower, so the fact that we had no other issues aside from the supercharger. I mean, we had like a valve cover leak, we had a relay that came out, we had to fix that on the side of the road, but Rocky Mountain Race Week was fantastic. It really was. It was a great experience, lots of good people. For those of you who didn't see, I got to meet Cletus McFarland. That was pretty cool in and of itself. Like, I mean, it was just a great experience. I got to meet all kinds of cool people, see all kinds of cool cars, and to be finishing the event, we made it through all 7 days of the event. We made passes. We were in the 14.0 class, and I think I ended up 32nd or something like that in my class, but we made a pass at every track. We turned in a slip. We made it, every single bit of it. We didn't have any terrible catastrophic failures. There were people pulling transmissions every track. Like, you have to be determined. If you want to do Rocky Mountain Race Week, you got to be ready to put some work in. It's a fantastic experience. I highly recommend it to anybody who's never done it before. It's great. It's very similar to Hot Rod Drag Week, only it's up in the Rocky Mountains, and it's really cool. Like, tons of cool sights to see. It's just a great experience. So I just wanted to touch on that and also update you guys on the car. The track didn't go as well as planned, but we're still pulling wheelies, still running 13.6s, and gained a little bit more mile an hour. I did find, check this out. So on this intake manifold, this is the one that came off of it. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this on camera or not. See if we'll focus on that. You see that right there? See that ear cracked off? We tried JB welding it, but this whole manifold was lifting up right here. So this whole piece here, we probably weren't sealing very well around this, so we were having boost leak issues when we were running. So that was kind of crazy to find. I don't know if you can see it any better right there. Yeah, there you go. See that crack right there? It's crazy. This intake manifold though, like for 2 days worth of work and throwing this thing together in a garage with some buddies, man, I couldn't be happier. My car has never been so reliable. And the crazy thing is we got done with this thing like 2 days before the event, or not, 2 hours before the event, and just up and drove it for, 1,300 miles or 7 days. It was so good, so reliable. So I'm going to stick with this for now. We're going to try to make it faster. I really want to do 11s in this car. I really want to get into deep 11s. I want to get the spark issue figured out so we can rev this thing all the way through the RPM band or through the power band, get some actual good power to the ground, and then I want to spray the nitrous. I want to hit it with the 150 shot of nitrous that we have. I want this thing to go 11s easily. That's my plan. So stay tuned. Hopefully after the 4th of July we can get some more testing in on it, get to the track and get things dialed in even more. But it's going to be tons of fun. I want this as is, as it sits, running 11s, pulling wheelies, and just having a blast. It's already super reliable. It's just been a lot of fun. But highly recommend Rocky Mountain Race Week. I'm gonna call it good for now, guys, and I'll give you guys some more updates as I try to get this thing into the 11s. It's already running 13.6s, which is okay, but I know it's capable of far more. Absolutely. Yes, it is a big leap. But I know, like right now, if you look at where we're at, I'm cutting like a 170 or a 168 60 foot, and I'm able to pull the wheels up and run a 13.6 short shifting at 3,700 RPM. Not even revving it out through the power band. So we get the spark issue fixed. I figure we'll hit 12s fairly easily, hit it with 150 shot of nitrous, and go from there. I think that low 11s, 11.9s are possible, very possible as is. I think that it's got plenty in it, and if I can get that, right now the blower's only putting out 4 psi. If I can rework that impeller and get the boost back up to 7 or 10 psi where it was, I think we'll easily hit our goal of 11s. You gotta think, like right now as it sits, it dynoed at 266 horsepower. To be yeah, I don't know. The 150 shot might. I'm gonna start with the 50. We'll go from there. But I got big plans for this thing. I think I don't know. I always like to shoot for the stars. I like to try to go big or go home. I'm gonna try to have a lot of fun with it. It's a stock bottom end 351 Windsor. I mean, what worst case scenario if I blow it up? I mean, whatever. I could get another one for 500 bucks. I don't want to break it, but I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna push it as hard as I can. I mean, this is gonna be a hell of a lot cheaper than trying to put $5,000 into my race engine. So I was like, well, we'll get the spark issue figured out so we can rev it up. Yep, exactly. Go big or go home. So you rev it up higher, get some more boost on it, and spray it with a little bit of nitrous. I think it'll easily go in 11. So especially if you cut a better 60 foot. I mean, if I get down to the 1.5s, I think an 11-second pass is very easy. I mean, hell, with the race engine alone, the car was running a 12.1 at 130. So, I mean, it's already been there. That was with 550 at the wheels. If we can get close to that, we can make that up with a little bit more boost. I think we can get there easy. Exactly. Get the boost up, and I think we'll be good. I mean, it's already a 100,000-mile engine. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I think it's looking good also. But we'll get the boost up and hit it with a 50 shot, see what she does, and go from there. I got to get the spark issue figured out first, and then add boost. Once I can rev it past 3,700 RPM, I think she's going to be a rocket ship. I know there's so much more left in it, but where it's at right now with the RPM, I got to get that spark figured out. And I know there's an offset angle because I was watching it today. Like it cuts out, and in the old tune I had, we had it all figured out. But I can't find that tune. I can't find the settings that I had it set at, so I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to set it again. So I'll have to watch the distributor as I'm revving it, and I'll have to adjust the offset to make it happen. Because right now what's happening is that rotor is not pointed straight at the pin as it's going around in circle because it's leading or lagging. So I'll have a video coming up probably, hopefully this weekend, maybe Friday. I don't know. We'll see. But I'll do a video or a walkthrough of how to check your rotor phasing because it's pretty neat. The Megasport can do a whole hell of a lot with timing and spark, but it's also kind of a pain to get it set if you don't have it set right. So anyway, guys, it's a long video for now, so I'm going to cut it here, and I will talk to you guys soon. Stay tuned for more videos, more testing. I also got to tell you guys more about my clutch tamer. I don't know if any of you guys know this or not, but this thing uses a clutch tamer. If you don't know what a clutch tamer is, it's that right there. You see that little knob right there? Let me get this light here so you can see it. I did a video on it a little while back, but that's a clutch tamer, and that makes the launches fantastic. So I'm going to do a video on that coming up here soon. Yeah, those truck engines are tough. I think it'll take a lot. And I mean, especially with this new intake manifold, I think it's going to want to rev a lot better. So I just got to get the spark figured out so we can get it revving and throw some more boost at it. But man, I tell you what, she's holding up good. The bearings were replaced. I mean, it's just so much fun. So weird in comparison to what I had before, but I love it. Like, I have literally fallen in love with this combo. you checking out yet another video on this turd. It's going to get into the 11s. I'm going to push it. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to do my magic, and I'm going to make this thing go fast. It has to. I mean, look at this. It can't look this crazy and not go fast. I can't run 13s with this for the rest of eternity. It looks too unique. It looks too cool. All right, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you soon.